Deus Ex Machina, Plot Armor, Mulligan, Do-Over, Divine Intervention, the Konami Code. Let's talk about hero points. You might be asking yourself, what is a hero point? Should I add them to my game? And if not, it's probably because you don't know what they are or how to use them. That, or you're one of the 6 people that are still playing Guild Wars 2. But in either case, don't worry, you're not alone. Hero points are an optional game variant for Dungeons & Dragons and Pathfinder. Hero points work well in epic fantasy or mythic campaigns in which characters are meant to be more like superheroes than the average adventurer. Which sounds awesome, but essentially in Dungeons & Dragons, it just boils down to everyone getting a shitty version of bardic inspiration. Let's just go straight from the book. And I quote, "With this option, characters start with 5 hero points at first level. Each time a character gains this level, the number is reset, and the new total is equal to 5 plus half the character level. A character can basically use a hero point whenever they roll a d20 to add a d6 to their roll before they know the result, or spend a hero point to switch a failed death save to a success, with the stipulation that you can only spend 1 hero point per roll." Not super fantastical, doesn't sound very amazing, so let's go ahead and talk about Pathfinder. Hero points in Pathfinder are intended for the same purpose, but they do it in a different way. You get fewer hero points, but they feel more empowering to the player. You gain 1 when you level, or when the GM feels you've done something worthy of heroic action, with the maximum hero points you could ever have at one point in time being 3. But Pathfinder does let you do quite a bit more with less. In most situations, there's no other way that you would be able to do this stuff without using a hero. It's essentially cheating, which is kind of fun. So let's get into it. One of the things you can do is act out of turn. You can spend your hero point to take your turn immediately. Treat this as a ready action, moving your initiative up to just before the current acting creature, and you can only make a move action or a standard action at this time. But this really allows people to say, wait, before that happens, I want to jump in there and do something. At the same time, if you decide to use a hero point on your turn, you still gain that extra standard action or move action on your turn. Having 1 extra attack to maybe finish off a boss, or a little bit extra movement just to get out of the way, is sometimes life or death. You can also use it to get a bonus, just like you would with D&D 5e, and there's some really cool stipulations on this. Using the hero point grants you a +8 luck bonus to any 1d20 roll. If it's used after the roll is made, the bonus is reduced to +4, but you can also use this to grant a bonus to another character, so long as you are in the same location and your character can reasonably affect the outcome of the roll, such as distracting a monster, shouting a word of encouragement, or otherwise aiding another with a check. Hero points spent to aid another character grant only half the listed bonus +4 or +2. And I think that's really cool, because that's the kind of player intervention that I naturally hear from my table when someone says, wait, before that happens, please, what if I throw my shield in front of that attack to try to block them from being killed? Like, that's the kind of interactions I want when players are in combat and in intense situations. This is mechanically giving them the means to do that. Some more mundane actions are just like re-rolling a d20, that's any d20 you want to make after you see it. Nothing special there. Something else you can do is ask the DM for inspiration, and this could be if you're stuck or can't solve a puzzle, or there's a really hard choice and you're not sure which one is going to be the best option. Turning in a hero point and then just telling the DM, I don't care, let fate decide. Desna, take the wheel, I don't know where we're headed. It's a great way to get the feel from a DM, or at least some advice when the path forward doesn't seem clear or have a safe or good option. Beyond that, they also have spell recall, which you can spend a hero point to recall 1 spell you've already cast, or to gain another use of a special ability that would otherwise be limited. And I think this is really cool for a couple of reasons, because it allows you to go beyond what your character would normally be able to do, and pushing something to exhaustion, even if it's a spell or an extra rage effect, second wind. There's tons of really cool options that can be done with this, and I do this by even putting this into magical items like rings or necklaces, weapons. I really do like this mechanic. It's very powerful, and I think it should be worked into the core mechanics of items and magical effects and things. Then again, that's probably another video altogether. As for cheating death, Pathfinder's a little different. It's not uncommon for someone to take so much damage that they blow past all of their negative hit points and just instantly die. And I quote, a character can cheat death by spending 2 hero points to alter the outcome of an effect that would normally cause their character to die, but instead leave them alive but stable. And the only real stipulation here is that the GM is allowed to design how this plays out. It could be as simple as an axe breaking, causing the attack to not be quite as fatal, or a subtle intervention of a holy symbol catching an arrow in someone's pocket. This is a great way to turn what could have been a player death into a very epic moment for that character, a place of growth and discovery for the party. And finally, my favorite of all hero point abilities in Pathfinder is, wait, hold on a second. Yeah, it's just labeled as special in the book, which I feel like could have a way cooler name. Either way, and I quote, special. You can petition the GM to allow a hero point to be used to attempt nearly anything that would normally be almost impossible. Such uses are not guaranteed and should be considered carefully by the GM. Possibilities include casting a single spell as 1 level higher than it could normally be cast, making an attack that blinds a foe or bypasses a damage reduction entirely. Whether it's saving yourself from being flayed, or convincing the guards that it indeed wasn't you who stole all the pickles from the garrison, or jumping in at the last moment to save an innocent bystander from, I don't know, a reckless bugbear. Why bugbear? I don't know, it's been a weird day. I just wanted to draw a bugbear. Hero points are supposed to make the game feel epic, in a way that empowers the players, and I like to think of them as letting the players take control of their fates and the narrative of the story, if even for just a moment. One of the biggest issues I have with hero points is keeping track of who has how many, and reminding people that they do have them at their disposal. I like to make physical cards so that you don't forget to use them when you do have them, and I like writing down how they were used on the back of the card as a memento for that epic moment. Long story short, if you want things to feel more heroic and meaningful, design them that way. And don't be scared to let your players take the wheel from time to time. I really think the best way to use a hero point is to have a conversation with your GM, or life-sized Matthew Mercer cardboard cutout. I generally go into these conversations with the intent of not saying no. When a player wants to use a hero point, it's usually from the most dire needs or situation, or the most epic of goofs, wanting to punch the king so hard that the crown falls off his head and lands on a pig. That can happen. And this is one of the reasons I usually only give them out when people level. They should be allowed to be silly, or save the party members, or have a Deus Ex moment as the player intends and not just the DM. This is a great way to let your players insert a bit of flavor, or epicness, or world-building infamy into your games, expressed through the actions of your characters. It doesn't always have to be the exact outcome they wanted, but the more you can let them have control, the more epic spending that hero point will feel. So when someone asks, can I use a hero point? Sometimes the best response is, sure, make me an offer. Thanks for watching, everybody. Remember to keep your dice on the table.
Hey, where'd you get those pickles? What pickles? Those pickles right there. Ah, I didn't steal them, if that's what you're thinking. Wait, what? Huh?
Don't nobody try to come between that kobold and his pickles. He'll get you. Don't even get me started on that pig.